Enjoying the show? You can help others find it and enjoy it too by giving us a 5-star rating or review. If you feel like reaching out to us with a question or comment, you can send us an email at mywifetherd@gmail.com. And don't forget to visit our website at mywifethedietitian.com, as well as our social media pages. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Enjoy the show. It's Rob and Sandra from My Wife the Dietitian, and this is Nutrition Nuggets.
Hey, Rob.
Hello, Sandra.
This is a nugget of a whole grain.
Oh, the whole grain.
The whole grain.
Okay.
We did an episode recently, Grains, Do They Cause Inflammation? Episode 170.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about whole grains, and it's the importance of getting 3 whole grains in a day, if possible. Or another way to look at it, of all your grains that you're eating, make sure that half of them are whole grains.
Okay. Yeah. And then you went out and went shopping and came home with some new stuff that we've never eaten before.
Well, one thing.
I noticed.
One thing in particular.
You got inspired by our episode.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's interesting. I looked through the Mind Diet, the book that we have here by Maggie Moon, a dietitian, called The Mind Diet, the scientific approach to enhancing brain function and helping prevent Alzheimer's and dementia. And there's a whole section on grains, so whole grains.
Right.
What's some whole grains that we talk about?
Oh, rice, quinoa, couscous.
The whole wheat quinoa, whole wheat
bread.
Whole
wheat.
Couscous. Yeah.
Yeah. All that stuff.
So anyways, we went and I bought some farro, Farro.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on the bag, the traditional grain of the Mediterranean.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And so I wanted to try it because I have heard of it. And when I saw it on the shelf, I thought, oh, this is a good opportunity to try a different grain because we've tried other ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never tried this. Did you like it?
It was good. It was kind of like big rice.
Like barley.
It was kind of like a combination of barley and rice. Like round rice almost. It was kind of a bit chewy like barley. I liked it. It was good. It wasn't as it was more substantial than rice.
Yeah.
Like the little grains, I guess they're called, right?
Yeah. A nutrition nugget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It would be good. It reminded me of orzo. Remember that? It's like a little pasta. It was like a little ricey pasta thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what orzo is, right?
I think orzo is semolina wheat, the same with pasta, but it's in a different shape.
Yeah.
It's small. And this is wheat too. So farro does come from an ancient grain belonging to the wheat family. And it's ancient because it dates as far back as 20,000 years.
Oh, wow.
So also known as emmer wheat. It was a primary grain cultivated by the early Egyptians and became a staple of the Roman legions during their occupation of Egypt.
Weren't they called pharaohs too? Like the kings or something? I remember doing a project in like grade 5 or something about Egypt. And it was like, they talked about the pharaohs.
The PH.
Yeah, pharaohs with a PH.
Yeah, and this grain is Farro. But that's what I said when I first bought it. You said, the last time I heard that word was when I was doing a project in grade 8 on the Egyptians.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me too.
Yeah, it's funny.
Farro. Yeah, so it's interesting because over time, farro's popularity gave way to easier to grow varieties of wheat grain. And then it started to emerge in Italy. So in the Mediterranean region, and now it's growing attention from cooks around the world as an alternative grain to the staples that most people eat these days.
Right.
So the Tuscany area in Italy, the Garfagnana.
Garfagna? I bet it's some different pronunciation.
Okay.
We're not Italian enough to say that word.
It has been granted the protected geographical indication status for its Farro della Garfagna.
You try to say, I like listening to you try to pronounce words. It's fun.
Garfagnan.
Garfagnan.
It's okay. So GARFAGNANA. Gar, fag, nana.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay.
That's what it'll be.
So farro is often confused with spelt, which is sometimes mistakenly called farro, but they're different grains. And farro has a dense, chewy structure, and it's a rich, nutty flavor.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And it can be used in pastas and in risotto-style dishes.
I was going to say, it would be a good, like, because it's got some substance to it, it would be a good base for like a casserole kind of, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it because we just ate it like we ate rice. We just like didn't really put anything on it. But it would be good with like as a casserole kind of thing.
Right.
Just look that up. Get some farro recipes.
Oh, I do. I have lots here.
Oh, I'm sure you do, actually. Yeah, what am I thinking?
That's why we're talking about it.
Of course. Perfect. I should listen to this episode then.
Exactly.
I might learn something about farro.
Well, on the bag, they have a picture of Italy, like the boot, and then some wheat.
Some wheat sheaths. What are those things called? Like the little feathery things.
Like the stalks and Yeah.
Yeah.
So, a hearty grain with chewy texture and rich nutty flavor, it says on the bag. Excellent in soups, casseroles, salads, and pilafs. And a good source of fiber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I would think so.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and that's what the thing is with farro. It has a higher total antioxidant activity than other wheats. So similar to einkorn, so EINKORN. Einkorn.
Never heard of that. Sounds German.
It's harder to hull than modern durum wheat, which is why it fell out of favor. So,
okay.
Yeah. But it comes in a pearled, like a refined way. So make sure you get the whole grain farro. And it's a quick cooking whole grain that is on the market. And that's what we have here. So yeah, like it's like barley or quinoa. And when you have it, you cook it and you have it the next day, like we did yesterday. Guess what kind of
resistant starch you get?
Yeah, there you go.
Resistant starch.
Resistant starch.
Yes.
We did an episode on resistant starch.
We sure did.
That's right. And we did also an episode on whole grain carbohydrates, better for blood sugar control, episode 84 with Kelly Springer, dietitian.
Right. Yeah, we talked all about all that stuff.
Yeah.
All about it.
And the Mind Diet, we did an episode back at night. I think it's episode 14. The Mind Diet. And that is part of the Mind Diet is whole grains 3 times a day. So this is one way to get them. You can try the farro. We have a rice cooker.
Yeah.
So you put the amount, it depends on the cooking method because it has the different cooking instructions on the back, like the stovetop, the pre-soak method, the slow cooker, and the multi-cooker.
Right.
So I use the multi-cooker. So a cup of rinsed farro and then 3 cups of, I actually used broth. It says water, but we had some broth in the fridge. So I used broth because it gives it a little bit more flavor.
Yeah.
And once you have it, then you can use it in different dishes. So in a salad, for instance.
Yeah, like we encourage people when they're cooking any kind of grain, whether it's pasta or rice or farro or quinoa, make lots. Because you get that resistant starch after it's been, like the
leftover.
Yeah, as a leftover the next day. So there's that bonus. Plus you have a base for so many other meals that it's just like half the battle with cooking is like, oh, what am I going to make? And I love it when I open the fridge and there's a whole bunch of things that are already made. And I just have to you take your leftover farro and you can make it into a salad the next day. You throw some tomatoes and onions and cucumbers in it and a little feta cheese, and you've got an instant Greek kind of Mediterranean farro salad.
Totally. Yeah,
you don't have to cook it all up then, it's just kind of ready to go. So
it's just kind of like a quinoa salad that people have all the time.
Exactly.
And remember when you think of the plate ratio. So when you're making your meal the next day or lunch you're taking to work and it's a bowl dish or it's like the Greek salad you just said, how much of that whole meal would be the farro?
Like 1/3, right? or a quarter, I guess, of your plate, isn't it?
Yep. And in terms of when you're looking at portion size, what do you look at?
Oh, your fist. Is that what
your
you're
hand?
trying to... Yeah,
exactly.
I see.
So it's about, for a lot of people, it's about a cup, maybe a little bit less than a cup. But about the size of your fist is the size of your
little pile of farro on your plate. Your
starch, your whole grain, the carb section of your meal. There we go.
That's a good one to remember.
That's right. And so with this farro, very high in fiber, a quarter cup. So it looks on the nutrition facts on the back. A quarter cup gives you 5 grams of fiber.
From a quarter cup?
Yes.
That's not a lot. Like a quarter of a cup? A serving would be bigger than that. That's a lot of fiber.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, it's mainly soluble fiber, which is really important for bowel health and for cholesterol.
Oh, okay.
And to kind of reset your digestion. Mm-hmm. We're going to do an episode on ways to help with that. But soluble fiber acts similar to Metamucil. So if your doctor or healthcare provider has ever suggested you take Metamucil, the reason why is because it's a soluble fiber. It sucks in the water. So it's soluble in water.
Metamucil does?
Yes.
Okay.
So it gels, it expands, it's like a sponge. It takes in all the water. And then when it goes through your digestive tract, it actually helps keep your bowel full and taut. So it helps prevent diverticulitis and helps keep you having consistent bowel movements. So more regular versus having constipation and diarrhea. It keeps things flowing very
consistently.
Yeah, exactly. So farro is a soluble fiber similar to oatmeal.
Right.
Similar to chia seeds in water, so chia pudding. Mm-hmm. Really good to try to include some sort of soluble fiber most days. And most foods have both soluble and insoluble.
Right.
So the ones that you find that when you add water to, it kind of turns to like a jelly-y kind of... Yeah. And if sitting out for a long time, like on the counter, it would almost turn to cement.
Well, and they expand too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that is mostly a soluble fiber, and it's really good for your digestion. So we're getting on a tangent here.
That's the whole reason you eat these foods, right?
Yeah.
You might as well highlight their function.
Yeah. And the ripple effects is they're really good for blood sugar control. So good for if you have insulin resistance or if you have blood sugar issues, prediabetes, or even diabetes, having whole grains that have the soluble fiber and insoluble fiber. So the farro is a good example of a good grain to include. It would help with weight control because you feel full. So you feel fuller when you're eating that meal. It prevents cravings later on in the day. It also helps with cancer prevention. So colorectal cancer, breast cancer, because it actually helps remove some of the circulating estrogen out of your system and takes it to the liver. So that's another beneficial effect of soluble fiber. And that's why it's also good for your cardiovascular system and heart health, because you know how you used to hear about oats were good for cholesterol?
Yeah.
Well, so is farro because it's got that soluble fiber and it helps with kind of cleaning out the arteries.
Okay. Huh.
So lots of benefits there. So
yeah, no doubt.
The digestion, the bowels, cancer prevention, heart protection, weight control, blood sugar control. There's a lot to it. And not just farro, but whole grains. Mm-hmm. And having 3 of them a day is really important, kind of spreading them out through the day. With the farro and more other whole grains, you get a good source of iron. You get selenium, that micro mineral that's really important. Mm-hmm. Magnesium, potassium, all your B vitamins. So another like folic acid, like folate.
Yeah, it sounds like pretty potent little grains.
And because, there's no cholesterol because it's a plant food.
Right.
So that would be one of your 30 different variety of plant foods in the week.
Oh, true. Yeah, it's funny. People don't think of things like that as a plant, right? But wheat, anything that's, you know, it doesn't have to be leafy and green to be a plant.
Right. Yeah, right. A lot of people think of just
Or
vegetables.
produce, you know, like a lot of the foods we eat come from plants originally, you know, like we're saying, all your cereals,
nuts
they're
and seeds.
all plant-based.
Absolutely.
Bread and beans and all those things.
Yeah. So a few ways to have farro like creatively in the kitchen to make different meals. The pilaf. So you could cook some mushrooms and a bit of butter and add some rosemary and pepper, and
that sounds delicious.
add the farro.
Mm-hmm.
And then that would be a side dish with your meal.
Right.
You could also, something we tried with the rice last week was in the rice cooker. So you could put the farro in with the broth and then some frozen veggies.
Right.
So you just add them right into the rice cooker. So then it just cooks everything at once. And then you can add that to the rest of your meal with some protein like chicken or fish or some beef or whatever you're eating.
Exactly. And like we mentioned before too, there's tons of different frozen veggie options now. It's not just like peas and corn and those things that we all grew up with years ago. There's all sorts of different mixes, so you can mix it up.
Yeah, like the fajita mixes, the Asian, like Chinese styled veggies, lots of different ones.
Yeah. Have a look.
Yeah, they're great. Another option could be like the Mediterranean that you said, but having like grilled zucchini and eggplant and then chopped up and cherry tomatoes, and then having that farro with some feta or goat cheese, all that.
Oh, nice.
I know, eh?
Wow, that sounds
That'd
good.
be a
I
recipe
haven't
of the week.
eaten yet. This is making me hungry.
I know.
Holy.
Yeah, so that would be maybe something we can add to our newsletter for the recipe of the week.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, we'll do something with farro.
Some different farro ideas.
Yeah. So anyways, it's a good thing to include and try out. It's always good to
try new things, because sometimes you'll find something that you'll love, you know? So, yeah. Anything else, Sandra?
I think we've said a lot, and
we'll let that sink in.
We'll let that soak up.
Soak in. All right.
Like the soluble fiber it is.
Thanks for sharing that with us today. It's always good to hear about new things. So, yeah, like we mentioned, we'll throw that in the newsletter. If you're not onto the newsletter team yet, sign up. You can go to our website and get more information about that. There's a sign up button on most pages on the website. It is free to join. It's a weekly newsletter with all sorts of different tips and interesting information. So it's worth a look. So you can find that on our website. It's mywifethedietitian.com.
You're just about to eat breakfast. You know what you could do is replace the farro with your oats. So basically make your oatmeal, but with farro instead as the grain.
Or both.
But remember, quarter of the plate. But yeah, that's another option. I mean, even on the quinoa box, it shows that you can use it as a side dish or a hot breakfast cereal.
It would be pretty good as a breakfast, actually.
Yeah, so the farro, you could do the same thing.
And there you go. And actually, I've done oatmeal. Like, I've eaten oatmeal the way I would eat rice and put soy sauce and vegetables on it, which you're like, what? That sounds disgusting, but it totally works. There's no reason why you can't, mix and match how you eat these things. Just because it's traditionally a breakfast food or traditionally a dinner food doesn't mean you can't switch it up.
Oh, I think it's great to switch things up, because it's really, we get in these food ruts and it's around what we have, these food rules, and we think, oh, French toast is only eggs and toast with syrup. Well, what about
not in my house?
Yeah, eggs and our house, exactly. Eggs and toast and salsa, or eggs and toast and ketchup, or the farro could be breakfast cereal, like a breakfast
with cinnamon on it or something, or maple syrup or something fun.
Yeah, and the oats as a main, with your main dish, like you said, with some beef and some veggies.
Yeah.
It's just the grain in there.
Exactly. You got it. So yeah, there's some more tips. That's the kind of stuff you'll find in our newsletter. So check that out. Like I said, it's mywifethedietitian.com. If you have questions for us, we love answering listener questions. You can email us your questions at mywifetherd@gmail.com. More than happy to answer those on the show. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Feel free to reach out to us there as well, or give us a like. We love hearing feedback. Speaking of that, you can rate and review the show too. That's a great way to give us feedback, letting us know how we're doing, if you're liking it, what you like, maybe what you don't like. So we're happy to adapt and make some changes to keep moving things in the right direction to make sure everyone is getting what they need from the show. Share with a friend too. That's super helpful for us. And I'm sure your friend would like to know a fun show that you're enjoying. So share. All right, that is it for this week. We will be back next week with another full episode. And like I said, in the meantime, check out the website, join up for the newsletter, and we will talk to you all next week. Thanks for joining us today on My Wife the Dietitian. If you like what you heard, don't be shy. Leave us a comment or review, and be sure to share our podcast with your friends. If you'd like to hear more, hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media pages for updates, episode trailers, and other odds and ends. For more info and links on what we discussed on today's episode, check the show notes. We'll be back next week with another informative and fun-filled episode.